another scenario where we've got the production database running on, in this case, I'm on DB2 inst2. My production database is DemoDB. I want to bring up a copy of it, but in a different instance. So I've mounted again as clone in clone DB1. So, again, what we can see is that I have, my DemoDB in clone instance in clone DB1. But what I've done here is that I've come up with a different set of commands for a different instance. So remember, we want to move clone DB1 DemoDB. We need to move the SQL folder to the new name, which is fine. So we're going to do that. Remember, I need to do this as root. We're then going to move the database name to my new name. But finally, we're going to move the instance name to a new name. So we're going to move DB2 inst1 to DB2 inst2. So what I should be able to see now is that this entire structure should look clean, which it does, right? Clone DB1 is where I've mounted it to. Clone DB is the new name of the database, and DB2 inst2 is going to be the new instance that we're going to bring it up in. And again, that SQL database folder also has to be called clone DB. So now in my relocate CFG file, DemoDB becomes clone DB, and the DB path changes, but the instance changes as well. And that's pretty key here. So I'm going to grab this file, and I'm now going to su to db2 inst2, right? Which is an instance user that's in a different instance. Now, before I do this, actually, I'll show you afterwards. So I've moved as db2 inst2, and what I wanted to show you that db2 inst2 is in the dbi adm2 group. Now, why is this significant? Because everything that's mounted is in db2 inst1. It's against a different user in a different group. So what I'm going to do is go back out to root. I'm going to do a chown -r of db2 inst2 in the db2i adm group for my /clone db, and then I'm going to rerun this command against everything underneath it. So this is pretty key, because now when I go and change to db2 inst2 and I go and look in clone, well, in fact, sorry, let's just make it easy here. If I do an ls of, well, in fact, actually, I'll bring up that previous command, because this will prove that we've gone right into the guts of it, and we've got ownership where we need it to be. db2 inst2 dbi adm2. So I'm now ready to run my final step, which is my relocate CFG file. Now you can see I've done a previous one here, so I'll just clean this out. Hit I for insert, paste this lot in. Now you can see I obviously didn't quite type it right. So I've got my db underscore name. I'm ready to go. So hopefully I've done everything correctly, because now I'm going to run my clone DB as snapshot. All right, that ran cleanly. So now I'm ready to kick off DB2. And I'm going to connect to clone DB. I'm going to list tables, and it doesn't have any. Now at this point, you might be filled with fear, because you've done everything right, but when you went to display the tables, there's nothing in them. Why is this? And the answer is because all the tables have a schema that belongs to db2 inst2. So there's a couple of ways to handle this situation. Now the first way to handle this situation is we could use a command like this. db2 list tables for schema db2 inst1. Oh, obviously didn't quite, oh no, of course I wrote, because I've already got the db2 in there. So let's try that again. Bang, all my tables are there. So in other words, what I need to be doing is redirecting myself to db2 inst1. The other way around this is that I could log in to this database, even though it's in db2 inst2, I could log in using my DB2 inst1 user. So if I log in as DB2 inst1, I'll get access and I'll be able to see these. Now, this is not a defect. This is simply the way DB2 works. There are various ways how you can manage schemas to allow you to handle this, but that's at a database level. I'm just pointing out to you that this is the way it behaves, and this is how you can do some things to work around it. So I've mounted it, I'm active, I'm able to use it, everything's cool. When I'm done, just wanted to show you how we tear it down. So quite easy to do. Of course, if I don't type things correctly, they're less easy to do. So DB2 terminate. Then I use the DB2 uncatalog command. So my DB2 uncatalog command, db clone db. Once that's finished, what I should be able to do is actually, because no one else has a claim on this, is I should be able to umount both of these file systems, prove that I've definitely stopped using it, and I can kick on. And remember, over here, I should still be talking to DemoDB. All right, so everything that I've done over in DB2 inst2 on my second instance hasn't affected the first instance.
Thank you for joining us for another YouTube Tech Tip video. If you like the content you're seeing on this channel, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you will be alerted to any future content.